We're back with Demian Costa to talk a little bit more about some of the interesting sides of his life. Correct me if I'm wrong, kind of sounds as if you like zero in. I mean, you clearly know how to have a really strong focus on something.
Correct.
And it sounds like you occasionally then do that in like the fun side too.
Correct. Yes, correct. So I like to pick certain things, big accomplishments, big goals, and really focus and go after them, and then rest, repeat, and do it all over again.
So what's next?
Oh, I don't know if I should say this out.
Then you're gonna have to live up to it.
I'm glad you're asking. I'm right now. So I'll back up. For my honeymoon, there's two things in life that I've always wanted to do. In my former life, I did lots of mountaineering, lots of climbing. Haven't done either in quite some time. But I wanted to always go on an African safari. I did that. Oh. It was wonderful. But the other thing that's always gripped me was climbing Mount Everest, right? And so. Now, for the I'm not going to go climb Mount Everest, but I'm toying with the idea of like a base camp trek. And so I've got a wife that's in good shape, and you know her, and I think she's on board, but she's a little bit more of the. Can we do the hard stuff and then stay in a Ritz-Carlton in the evening?
At the base camp. The Ritz at the base camp.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm toying around with something like that, and that could happen. That could happen this summer. We'll see.
But you guys also have a family.
We do. I'm glad you mentioned that. So I have my firstborn son, Asher, who just turned 5 months. He's a major component of this. Now, I'm clearly not going to bring him to Nepal, but he's also going to be at that age where he's just old enough at about a year to where I can hand him off comfortably to the in-laws, but not so old that he's going to remember me leaving him for 2 weeks. And so, yes, it's kind of a now or never. If I wait too long, and then he's going to be, in soccer and all this sort of lacrosse and everything else that kids do these days, and I may miss the window.
What would surprise people to learn about you? I mean, a lot of people know the Navy SEAL story, which actually is pretty cool in itself. But what do you think, like, especially even like people who know you, might surprise them to know about you?
Might surprise. You're going to put me on the spot with that.
Yeah, that's the intent.
Let's see. Let's go with the Navy SEAL team. In my entire life, I've never owned a handgun. I don't own an assault rifle, nor do I don't think I've shot either one of those things in 13 years. And so I don't like horror movies, don't like violence on TV. I watch, Big Bang Theory and Friends reruns. I'm not a big UFC guy. Usually when my friends tell me that we're going to get the fight, I kind of usually find an excuse not to go watch it because I don't really enjoy it. So I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a pacifist at heart. That might surprise some folks. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
And cheers. Not bad.